I pray she doesn't.
Take photos of the application. We just listen. Don't post it anywhere. Who is for the respondent?
Your Honor, my name is Johnston Daniel Jr.
Sorry?
Johnston Daniel Jr.
Johnston?
Daniel J.R. Jr. Been served with the application, nor has my client been sensitive. My understanding is court, and I was ready. It is, I've been given indication that there is a miscellaneous application against him. Presented the application, so I cannot respond. None.
I have scanned through the application. They asked for custodial.
In this application, we are applying that the respondent be detained for 21 days at Capitol Hill Police Station for the reason that the respondent, Your Honor, in this case was arrested on the 4th.
21 days for?
21 days for investigations to be concluded. For the reason that the respondent was arrested on the 4th of April 2025. You know, the IO in this matter is investigating
was arrested
on the 4th of April 2025. The IO is investigating a case of murder in which a student of multimedia was killed. And it's believed that the respondent is highly connected with this case. So far, the investigating officer is yet to submit the exhibits which were found at the scene of crime to the government analyst for analysis. The deceased autopsy is yet to be conducted. The DNA samples from the respondent are yet to be obtained for the purpose of comparison with the exhibits that were recovered. We require that psychiatric examination is done on the respondent before arraignment at the High Court. The matter has evoked immense public interest amidst heightened femicide cases in the country. And based on those reasons that we've stated, Your Honor, we pray that he is detained for 21 days.
The deceased is a daughter of a single mother, the eldest daughter. She has two siblings who are twins. They hail from the slum of Kawangware. the family is completely devastated. This is an offense of femicide. Which has moved from the ordinary murder to an offense targeting a particular gender. An offense that might wipe out the female gender from this republic. We urge the court to take judicial notice this offense is alleged to have been committed within Multimedia University. Where every parent takes her daughter, the parent is comfortable that the institution, the university, is a safe haven for their daughters. It is our humble prayer that the court grants the day sought. Because the state has provided for areas to cover, and we shall be seeking that with time the family be allowed to file affidavits later.
In response to the application?
No, not for this. After the DPP decides. For now, we are urging the court to grant the 21 days. Mr. Shadrach will address you on the children.
I think your submissions are sufficient for the victims.
This application, the 7th of April 2025. In this application, we are applying that the respondent be detained for 21 days at Capitol Hill Police Station for the reason that the respondent, Your Honor, in this case, was arrested on the 4th of 21 days for investigations to be concluded. For the reason that the respondent was arrested on the 4th of April 2025. The IO in this matter is investigating was arrested on the 4th of April 2025. The IO is investigating a case of murder in which a student of multimedia was killed, and it's believed that the respondent is highly connected in this case. So far, the the investigating officer is yet to submit the exhibits which were found at the scene of crime to the government analyst for analysis. The deceased autopsy is yet to be conducted. The DNA samples from the respondent are yet to be obtained for the purpose of comparison with the exhibits that were recently covered. We require that psychiatric examination is done on the respondent before arraignment at the High Court. The matter has evoked immense public interest amidst femicide cases in the country. And based on those reasons that you stated, Your Honor, we pray that he is detained for 21 days.
Your Honor, it may please you.
We are not. We are with them. Just MMU.
And on behalf of the victims, it is of a single, the eldest daughter. She has two siblings who are twins. They hail from the slum of Kawangware. The family is completely devastated. Which has moved from the ordinary murder to an offense targeting a particular gender. The female gender from this republic. Urge the court to take judicial notice that this offense is alleged to have been committed within Multimedia University. Where every parent takes her daughter, the parent is comfortable that the institution, the university, is a safe haven. It is our humble prayer that the court grants the day sought. And we shall be seeking that with time the family be allowed to file affidavits later. Not for this, after the DPP decides. For now, we are urging the court to grant much.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. We will be opposing that application. As you've stated, as they have stated, this is a matter of public interest. And being a matter of public interest, it is critical that justice be seen to be done. My client is not accused. And therefore, not being accused should not be held and have his constitutional right under Article 29 of the right to liberty arbitrarily of Articles 49 and 50 with regard to the rights of an accused person and fair trial. My client has been held since, I believe, Friday, which is the 4th. To hold in any further will be an abrogation. The severity of this matter is not lost to us. That is why we invite this court to ensure that justice is conducted even from this jump-off point. He appeared of his own accord, so he is able also to present himself for the blood test. With regard to the question of his access to multimedia university, the police have had access to the crime scene. They've conducted their investigations. They've sealed it off. He has no access or influence over that crime scene. Orders with regard to keeping my client away from MMU if it should so deem fit. Therefore, given the justifications they have given, I am not convinced, and neither should this court be, that his right to liberty should be abrogated to the police. I ask this court to also be swayed by the fact that my client is a 19-year-old, a student like the victim, and therefore not capable to be a flight risk. I'd go as far as to say he doesn't even have a passport. Your Honor, to add to this, my client is himself a man of humble means, having never worked in his life, who comes from a family of humble means. We are asking, therefore, his own cognizance, or even to the custody of his family. You would both do justice to him and the victim, in as far as you would have met his constitutional, you would have preserved his constitutional rights. And with regard to the victim, we are amenable to any recommendations, even under he has no intention of not facing justice where that justice is served. Thank you.
Since the 1st of May of April, he gone missing, and he only resurfaced 3 days later. The charges he faces are of a serious nature, and they attract the death penalty, and him being the primary suspect. That is my prayer.
Your Honor, with your permission, just to assist the court in making this determination, Your Honor. Points of law.
I have heard from Mr. Brad it is sufficient.
For the purpose of asking the permission of the court so that the investigators can investigate this matter even deeply. Your Honor, in an application such as this, the court has previously suggested, in the case of Sudi Kipchumba, paragraph 24, that you should only be concerned, number one, with whether the application is made in good faith. As is, Your Honor, from the submissions flowing from my colleague, Mr. Johnston Daniel Jr., he has not pointed out any fact deponed on the affidavit to suggest that the investigator has made this application in bad faith. Secondly, Your Honor, to balance the quadruple rights, the public interest, that of the victim, the accused person, respondent, and the proper administration of justice. On the first day of April.
Let us not go to those issues and if they are sufficient. Let me give the reference.
Most obliged.
considered the application by the state and the responses thereto. There is no doubt that the offense being investigated is a serious one and carries a severe punishment in case of a conviction. The respondent is said to have presented himself to the police on the 4th of April 2025, while the offense is said to have taken place on the 1st of April 2025 at Multimedia University. The prosecutor has enumerated what the investigating officer has set out to do in the course of his investigations. There is need to have the police given ample time to do the same. The respondent, having presented himself to the police, is well noted. However, the right to liberty is not absolute and the same can be limited. At this juncture, it will not be proper to release the respondent on bond or even on personal cognizance as suggested by his counsel. Therefore, in the interest of justice and bearing in mind that a life was lost, I find that the application is merited and the same is allowed. The respondent shall be held at Capitol Hill Police Station for 21 days. Second of April. Yes.
March. Yeah.
End on 28.
That's 15.
The second is 15.
28th.
Today is 7. Yes.
Yes. 28.
21 ends on 21st.
Those are 14 people.
Sorry, 28.
28.
Prosecutor. Okay.
My name is Anthony Nyakundi. We are family members. We have come here. We are saddened with the death of our Sylvia Kemunto. She was the only daughter Mama Teresa had. She struggled hard to make her ends meet. She has taken care of her since she was a child up to this time, and she expected something from her. But unfortunately, the cruel hand of death, we can call it an heinous, a kind of we call it an act of, I don't know whether we call it a satanic act, has taken her. We are not, we are trying to come to terms now we lost her, but we cannot come to the terms. But we live with the authority, we live to the lawyers, and we live with the state so that they can take an action, so they can prove this, and we'll be served with justice. We say justice for Sylvia and for the family. Thanks.
Jina ni Clinton Nyamari. Mimi ni ndugu yake mama ya huyu msichana ambaye amekufa. Hili ni jambo ambalo ni zito sana, hata huwa tunashindwa tuongee nini. Chenye tungeomba kama familia tu ni haki tendeke ya huyu mtoto wetu ambaye amelala, kwa sababu tulikuwa na matarajio makubwa sana na yeye. Mtoto ambaye amelelewa kwa familia ambayo ni ya kimaskini. Chenye tunaomba tu ni koti tupatie haki ya huyo mtoto, ndio at least roho zetu siwe at least.
Fetokari, msichana mwenye aliaga as my nephew. Leo tumekuja hapa kuona mshukiwa akiletwa hapa kotini, na ukweli tumemuona. Tungeomba serikali yetu itende haki, na our council Dansan Umari ako na sisi hapa, na tunajua at the end of the day tutapata haki. Thank you.
Now today we came here for the purpose of one Eric Mutinda Philip, the major suspect of the murder of the late Sylvia Kemunto, being presented. The investigators in this matter have, in their wisdom, which we have supported, sought for 21 days to detain him further, so that those 21 days can give them an opportunity of investigating this matter even further. So what the court has done, the court has heard both sides. The court has been well informed that indeed, following the untimely death of one Sylvia Kemunto, the suspect disappeared from the compound, the school compound, that is multimedia, only to resurface on the 4th day of April 2025 when he presented himself at the Sultan police station. So thereafter he was processed and availed to Capitol Hill police station. So what we came here to do was just to seek permission from court so that he can continue to be detained, to give room and window for the investigators to get into this complex murder. You might be well aware that this is a student. This is a student that was being depended upon by the parents. The parent was actually looking forward to this girl helping her in future. But now, due to what has happened, we send our condolences even to the family as the legal counsel of the family, and we are promising that throughout this journey, we are going to work together. We are going to ensure that justice is served. To go and store, or dump the body into that tank. So there is really need for the investigators to get enough time to investigate whether this suspect did this offense in conjunction with others or alone. If he did it alone, he should answer to his crimes. If he did it with others, even the others who have not been presented before court should be arrested, arraigned and charged for the offense. That should be all for me for now. Thank you.
Well, this investigation raises serious new trends of crime. It is called murder committed in institutions. It started with Kenyatta National Hospital, where a patient was murdered in a ward. It has now gone to a university where a student has been murdered within the hostels and within the boundaries of Multimedia University. Serious questions that we posed to the court and to the Director of Public Prosecution and the Director of the DCI is up to what level of either negligence or culpability did the university get involved itself into this matter. Students in the hostels of universities, when they are female students, they are taken care of in a manner different from the students who are boys. This is an attack on the gender, the female gender. We have seen murders committed outside the university hostels. This is the first one that has been committed within the university hostels. Where were the janitors? Where were the security of the university? I am reliably informed by the mother that this girl, the late, had complained to the security and the university administration that the said boy, the said suspect, had taken away her iron box. And it was such a serious case that was decided by the university. Because of the permanent and constant harassment, the girl sought security and refugee from the university. The university never did anything. She packed, came back to her mother's place. She has been operating from Kawangware, where her mother stays, to go to university. The reason why she went to school on that Sunday was purely to go and study to start exams on Monday. That is the reason she went. The bag that was used to carry her was a bag that was bought to go and carry her personal belongings from the university, because the university had become a place not safe for her. The university had failed to protect a student who sought refuge in them. So, we shall be seeking that the DPP orders an investigation into the management of the university, the security lapses that led the death of this young girl. This is a daughter of a single mother, a hawker at Kawangware. This is the death of the only hope from that family. This is devastating for the siblings who are twins, young daughters, young sisters. How will they cope with the loss of this? This is an attack on the female gender, and the nation needs to wake up. If we allow this to continue, then the question about our daughters, our sisters, our aunties, our mothers, our grandmothers, who shall protect them when the government and the government institutions fails to protect the young students who are in the safety of the hostels of the university? We shall be watching brief. We came here, the state sought for 21 days. We have supported that application. The state has been granted 21 days for them to complete their investigations. We shall come back on the 28th of April for either the file to be closed, for it to go to the High Court, for the offense of murder to be committed. But our prayer as the family is that it is practically impossible. This girl was over 60 kgs. That is not a small person. How did this person get strangled, or how was this person killed? Put in a suitcase, being ferried from a lady's hostel to a man's hostel. How was it? How did it happen? Where was the university? We hold the university responsible, and we shall pursue that the university management and the perpetrator of the crime be charged, both of them, with the offense of murder or assisting one to commit the offense of murder. Thank you.
My name is Johnston Daniel Jr. I am advocate for Eric, who is a young man, 19 years of age, barely grown into adulthood, a civil engineering student.
I have considered the application by the state and the responses thereto. There is no doubt that the offense being investigated is a serious one and carries a severe punishment in case of a conviction. The respondent is said to have presented himself to the police on the 4th of April 2025, while the offense is said to have taken place on the 1st of April 2025 at Multimedia University. The prosecutor has enumerated what the investigating officer has set out to do in the course of his investigations. There is need to have the police given ample time to do the same. The respondent, having presented himself to the police, is well noted. However, the right to liberty is not absolute, and the same can be limited. At this juncture, it will not be proper to release the respondent on bond or even on personal cognizance as suggested by his counsel. Therefore, in the interest of justice and bearing in mind that a life was lost, I find that the application is merited and the same is allowed. The respondent shall be held at Capitol Hill Police Station for 21 days.
Too much of that.
We take a